My mom broke her college promise for my brother's car. 4 years later, she expected me to pay her medical bills. I was 17 when my mom sat me down at the kitchen table with that serious look she got when she meant business. She said if I could get a scholarship, any scholarship, she'd help me pay for the rest of college expenses like room and board, books, everything I needed to succeed. Money was always tight since Dad left when I was 12, but she promised me this one chance at a better life. That night, I stayed up until 3 a.m. researching scholarships, writing down deadlines, figuring out what I needed to do. Senior year became a blur of studying, volunteering, and working extra shifts while keeping my grades perfect. I joined every club that looked good on applications and spent weekends at the library crafting scholarship essays until my hand cramped. Then in March, I got the call that changed everything. I'd received a full academic scholarship covering tuition, fees, and even a meal plan. One of only 15 given out statewide that year. When I told my mom, she hugged me so tight I could barely breathe and said she was proud of me, that she'd help with everything else just like she promised. The next few weeks were incredible. Teachers congratulated me. My boss said I was going places. People around town who barely knew me were saying how proud they were. My mom kept telling her coworkers about my scholarship, and I could hear the pride in her voice. That's when my younger brother Caleb decided he wanted a car. Not just any car, but this specific red sports car from the dealership downtown. It was used, but still cost $18,000. He just graduated high school with a C average and no plans beyond working at his friend's dad's auto shop. At first, my mom said no. We couldn't afford it. And besides, she'd already committed to helping me with college expenses. But Caleb kept pushing, saying all his friends had cars, that he needed reliable transportation for work, that it wasn't fair I was getting so much money for college when he was getting nothing. The conversation happened on a Wednesday evening in June. My mom sat down across from me at that same kitchen table where she'd made her promise. She said she'd been thinking about the college situation and realized she couldn't help me financially after all. The money just wasn't there, and I was smart enough to figure it out on my own. Then she hit me with the real punch. She decided to help Caleb buy that car instead because he needed it for work, and boys need reliable transportation more than girls need college luxuries. Those were her exact words. The car payment would be $400 a month for 5 years, money that could have easily covered my college expenses. I felt like the ground had disappeared under my feet. Everything I'd planned suddenly seemed impossible. The scholarship covered tuition and meals, but I still needed money for textbooks, supplies, clothes, and 1,000 other things. That Saturday, I watched through the living room window as my mom and Caleb drove off to the dealership. They came back with him behind the wheel of that red sports car, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Every time I saw that car in our driveway, I felt sick to my stomach. I took the bus to campus with 2 suitcases and a backpack, feeling more alone than I'd ever felt. College was everything I'd dreamed of, but the financial stress never went away. I worked 20 hours a week in the library, lived on ramen noodles, and counted every penny while my classmates talked about care packages from home. I graduated summa cum laude with a degree in accounting and immediately landed a job at a prestigious firm. I'd managed to keep student loans relatively low through constant work, but still owed $30,000. My mom came to graduation acting proud, seeming to have completely forgotten she'd nearly derailed my future over a sports car. 3 years into my career, I got promoted and bought my own house. I built a life completely on my own, determined never to depend on anyone else's promises again. That's when my mom got sick. Cancer, stage 3. Her insurance would cover most treatment, but co-pays and out-of-pocket expenses would be substantial. Her savings were depleted from covering Caleb's various expenses over the years. She called me crying, asking if I could contribute to her medical expenses, invoking that same phrase about family helping family. The conversation felt surreal. This was the same woman who'd broken her promise to help me with college, now asking me to step up when she needed support. Despite everything, I couldn't let her suffer because of old resentments. I told her I'd help, but first we needed an honest conversation about what happened in high school. I wanted her to acknowledge she'd broken her promise and explain why she'd prioritized Caleb's car over my education. Eventually, she broke down and admitted she'd made a terrible mistake. She'd let Caleb manipulate her, been afraid of his emotional outbursts more than disappointing me. She'd assumed I was strong enough to succeed without help, while Caleb needed more support. I helped with her medical bills, but kept contributions businesslike, paying specific invoices rather than giving cash. When she asked for help with non-medical expenses, I declined. Caleb never contributed meaningfully to our mother's care. The sports car eventually got repossessed. 2 years later, my mom was in remission and doing well. When she asked to help with my wedding expenses, I politely declined. Our relationship today is cordial, but distant. She's proud of my success, but doesn't seem to understand that her broken promise fundamentally changed how I view family loyalty and trust. Sometimes the most important thing a parent teaches you is that you can only truly rely on yourself.